Second. So, welcome to Be the Change Masterclass. I'm Chelsea Wildfire, and we are going to share and talk about choosing to be the one that makes a difference in your family. We can't change those around us. We can't expect those around us to change, but we can be the change ourselves. So, I'm really passionate about helping women connect to their intuition, to their body, and helping you choose how you respond, how you move through and feel through everything that's going on in your life, in the collective, and all around us. So let's learn how to feel, to express, and to trust in yourself and all of your bigness. Like, we are meant to take up space, and that's what we're here doing. So say hello. I see a few of you are letting me know where you're from. Drop it in the chat and let me hear from you. Where are you tuning in from? This masterclass is for you. I'm excited. Yes, we got people in Minnesota and Arizona. Yes, let me see who else. So before we really begin, I want to just say, get ready. Make sure you have a sacred space set up. Light a candle near you. Have water or tea with you. Maybe light the incense. Just have your space made for you. This is for your time to connect back to yourself. And yes, a journal and pen available. All right, we got Chicago, more Minnesota, Canada. I'm loving touching bases all over. Love it. Thank you for being here. So make sure you have your space, make sure you have your journal, and let's get to it. By the end of the day, I really just want to share with you, if some of you might have heard my story before and you might know me already. So the first half you might already know, but I just want to share a little bit about myself and how I got here, what feminine embodiment is, as I'm a feminine embodiment coach, and people don't always understand really what that is. And then we're going to do a simple practice just that you can do at home anytime to listen to your body, learn what your answers are and what your yeses and nos are, and be able to express the overwhelm emotions that we have that have really been triggered lately. A lot has been going on around the media and politics and the social, everything around us, pushing at us to see if we're going to react and evoking a lot of our emotions, and that's how they get reactions. And they also control us with that. If we can't stay grounded and trusting and able to listen to ourselves, that's how they can kind of control larger groups. So I want to share some steps about building self-trust. We can't trust ourselves if we get too angry. We can't trust ourselves if our emotions run the show. And then we have to learn how to break the cycles that are keeping you trapped and stuck in those same patterns and following other people and feeling overwhelmed and in the chaos. So come on in and let's get in here. Beautiful. All right, see, Abby knows. Tea, incense. Stay in tune with your body and breathe so that you don't get overwhelmed with what's going on all around us. I know it's not easy. So we'll keep moving and I'll share with you quick. Why am I here and who am I? I am a feminine embodiment coach and empowerment coach. I've added too, because I empower others to make their choices, to learn from their body and their truth. And a soul guide. I'm a fearless leader that's inspiring a global movement of women to ignite their inner flame, reclaim their power, love themselves more, and break repeating patterns. I'm sick of being stuck in the rat wheel. I'm sick of the same old same, and I know many of you are too. And the last few years has really made us wake up to that of what's not serving us. What are we doing this for if it doesn't feel good? Am I aligned? What am I doing this job? You know, so it's time to break those patterns and be the one in our family to stand up and be that change. So I want to talk about, you know, my journey. I was just sharing, I was doing a soul session with a sister the other night, and she was stuck in the in-between. There's an in-between of who you used to be and who are you becoming and who you want to be, where you start to get kind of lonely and looking around like, wait, can I do this? Who am I? Who are my friends? And some of you may know me from 10 years ago or 20 years ago. I was a completely different person. So this is a picture of me. I believe it was my 18th birthday. I was partying all the time. I was using sex to get love and not respecting my body. I didn't know what a womb space even was. I was not centered and rooted in my body. I didn't follow my intuition. There was a lot of abandonment in my younger years, you know, and abuse from mental, emotional, sexual abuse. And I created a lot of shame and judgment from others. I grew up with really big boobs, super young. And so other people were bullying me and telling me all these negative things that I believed, and I was soaking it in. I was a sponge taking in other people's words. And how many of you resonate with that? Like, let me see in the chat, or like a hand raise or any kind of emoji. You know, many of us were bullied. Probably everybody's bullied in some way or has some sort of story that put a lot of pain into our life and growing up. And then it creates this idea around what love is, or what money we can receive, or what we do in our relationships. And there's toxic relationships and unhealthy ways to receive love and to give love. And, you know, there's a couple years ago, I was reading a book and I realized, like, I don't even know what love is. I don't know what healthy love is. I don't know what it's actually supposed to be like. Do you? Now I do. Yes, I see you all. Yeah, you know, like, especially for us who want to be healers and help others, we go through the stuff early. Like, we go through some dark shit and dark night of the soul early, and probably over and over, because before we can break through, we have to break down. We have to make space for who we're becoming. We have to let go of that past self. So I hate this picture of me. You can see in my face how much better. Oh, yeah. But I'm showing it to you so you know that I was a mess. I sold drugs. I was partying. I was numbing. I was using everything to try to feel something, but I wasn't feeling anything at all. And it was chaotic. And now I get to be this badass bitch. And really, like, just own who I am and be me. You know, I don't have a perfect past, and I own it. I don't allow shame or judgment to keep me small or hiding. And everyone who knows who I am, you know, like, I get asked a lot if I'm a witch. I'm not a witch. I guess some of the things I do could technically be witchy, you know, maybe pagan, but I don't like to claim labels. However, I do work with light and dark in a, you have to go into your shadow work, into your dark side, into your fear, into your shadow, to feel safe with yourself, to hold yourself, to learn through that pain of what your light really is. So in this world of black and white, I get to bring this feminine and masculine together. We have to have an honest, authentic connection to both. We have a masculine energy within us and a feminine. We need both. There's reasons for both of them. And then breaking the cycles is what I share about all the time. And it's the first step of really resurrecting this wild woman that has the balance of both, that understands her darkness and looks at her toxic side and her own crap that is attracting the same partners, the same crappy jobs, the same fight and argument, right? We have to see how we are attracting it and learn how to feel safe with our own masculine and feminine, so that we can really claim our worth and our desires and stand up for what we want and who we are. And yeah, duality is key. It is. You can't just be in one. If you're over here disregarding all of this, you're only looking at part of you, not all of you. And we are whole and a lot. I could be so many labels, but I don't like to be put in a box. I'm a wildfire. I'm all over, but I'm also like centered and rooted right down here in the middle to express myself in any way that I feel pleased. One day I may be this really rounded, soft, happy, uplifting, and then the next day I might be a little crazy and emotional and fierce and loud and aggressive. And you know, we have both sides. As long as you're not hurting anybody, it's okay to be who you are. So, embodiment. I never even knew what feminine embodiment was before I even signed up to be a feminine embodiment coach. I just knew it was on my next step, and that's who I needed to be and what I needed to do. So embodiment is the truest form of yourself. It's your purest essence expressed through your way of being and moving through life. If you know who I am, if you've seen me show up, if you've seen me really at all, you know I'm really embodied. I just am unapologetically me. I flow, I'm open, I'm laughing, I'm expressive through my hair, my clothes, my loud laugh and voice. And this is what I explain embodiment as, but it's my own description that feels right to me. So you can create your definition, but it kind of flows and it's open because we don't want to limit it. And it might be different to others. We got another woman coming in a little later. I'm going to let her in quick. So, some of the things around the general definition of what embodiment is would be using the body to show and express yourself. So there's 4 pillars to embodiment. There's breath, movement, sound, and awareness. So you have to be very aware. You know, like a sister said earlier, connecting to yourself. Through all that's going on, how connected to yourself do you stay? We have to get really in tune with the subtle sensations and feelings and textures in our body so that we can understand what we're feeling and know how different emotions show up in our body. And then kind of see the warning signs, see and feel like, ooh, I'm starting to get really agitated and I can tell I'm just might blow up soon, so I better go take a breath and walk away. That just happened last night and I did really good. And some days we're not that good at it, and that's okay. It's about practice. But the embodiment is about being your truest self. It's that essence, that raw, pure essence of yourself, and it's guided by the body and the inner knowing. So much spiritual stuff I say, we're like trying to go out to reach, and you know, I always connect people with earth, connect up, and then meet right here in the heart, connecting to the body. We have to have a little bit of everything. So embodiment is a way of being. To be embodied, one must be grounded in their sense of self and in their physical body. This is a level of sensitivity and awareness needed to understand these sensations, and then this can become the guidance of life. In the Break the Cycles program, I share and help get women into their body. I'll do that practice in a little bit, but I help show them how, what does your body feel like when you say yes? What does your body feel like when you say no? How do you know the yes and no's? And when somebody asks you something, do you check in with yourself or do you just automatically respond? Like, take a breath, feel into your body. Because how many times do you guys say yes when you mean no? Or do you say no when you really wish you would have and you're just scared, you know, you just need a little extra, like, okay, I can do this. So it's really important to tune into the body. So we're going to do a drop-in quick. So wherever you are, I want you to close your eyes. Place a hand on the heart, hand on your womb space, just below the belly button, the lower abdomen. Take a nice deep breath in. And long exhale out. Let's come into this space. Are you here and being present? Are you listening? Is there chaos around you? Where are you sitting? Taking some breaths, not having to change how your breath is, letting it flow in and out. Breathing and feeling the rise and fall of your chest. Noticing the textures and the sensations of your body on the pillows, the cushions, the floor, the earth beneath you. Sinking heavier and deeper into your body and into the support that's available here. Breathing all the way through the heart space, allowing it to expand to the front and to the back with every breath. Teaching your awareness and your focus to come into the body and into the heart. Getting out of the mind, letting the mind get out of the way, and just feeling, sensing, noticing. And breathing down into the left hip. And then into the right hip. And waking up the pelvic bowl here. What do you feel? Are there any sensations that you're noticing in your body? This is the first time you're saying hello to her, connecting to the heart and into the womb. The womb is your intuition and your second heart. It's all of our reproductive organs and connecting down to the yoni and our sacred space as women and creators. Our sexual life force energy, our emotions. Tuning into how we feel. And is there anything that you're avoiding? Are there any memories or feelings that might be trying to get your attention right now? Is it scary to slow down like this? Are there any parts of you that you're afraid to go into? Are you maybe avoiding this and not dropping in, not slowing down because you don't want to? I want you just to take note and reflect and feel what you're noticing in your body. When you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes and come back to this space. But this is a simple practice to just start dropping into your body every day, breathing and feeling into her. I'd love to hear in the chat of what came up. Was there anything you're avoiding? I shared a little bit on Facebook and my YouTube recently about avoidance. Something I used to do and something I wanted to talk about is using toxic relationships and blaming others to avoid doing your inner work. So let me just let that hit you about how many times you were so worried about somebody in the family or a partner or somebody else, how they need to do this, they need to heal, they need to work on that, they need all of this, and I want to help them, I could fix them. I really liked to fix men for a while there, and I made a commitment to myself that I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not here to fix others, and I'm only going to help people who want to be helped. And so what are you avoiding by looking outward at everybody else? I know many people want to be healers and help others, but first there's often something in you that you have to heal and work on. I'm not saying it's just going to go away, but what your wounds are is your wisdom. How you heal and grow through your stuff is what you get to share and help with everybody else. If you know me, I'm always sharing about my ups and downs, especially now being pregnant and up and down with my emotions and just my healing journey over the last 5-10 years. I've always been very vulnerable, but also inspirational in sharing my truth. And Break the Cycles and the Unshackled Woman and all these online courses that I do are things that I use to help heal and grow. And the things that I've used, the tools that I've learned from teaching and training, but also from practicing and doing it myself and learning and receiving. And that's what I want to share with you. And I've worked with a lot of women, and a lot of times they're afraid of the darkness. They're like, Chelsea, I don't want to look over there. What shadow work? I don't want to acknowledge these things. I don't want to look at it. This is too scary for me, along those terms. So I want to see some sharing from some sisters here. What came up for me was past memories where I utilized manipulation and lies towards partners to gain pleasure outside of the relationship. Yeah, I just had a woman the other day was like, oh, well, just tell them you don't feel good so they'll do this stuff for you. And it was just like telling me to manipulate my partner. And I was like, no, that's also toxic femininity too. We talk a lot about toxic masculinity, but let's be real here. Everybody has unhealthy, toxic habits and can be manipulative, painful, hurtful to other people. And I had also just shared about this, about it's our inner child that hurts other people and other people's inner child who hurt us. So hurt people. And trying to remember that when somebody is bringing you down and making you feel a certain way, it's because they're hurting. And we have to acknowledge and love and take time with our inner child, with our younger self, with our present self, so our future self can thrive. And that's why we're all here. And I'm so glad you're here and we can do this together. So another sister saying, trying to support everyone around me and neglecting myself. Tune in to the uncomfortable parts of yourself. Yeah, I just also heard a sister say yesterday, I'm really good at taking care of everybody else, but not really myself. And I was like, yeah, you're right, you do. I called her out too. I was like, that is true. Stop taking care of everybody else. We got to take care of ourselves. And changing what I control, my reactions to others. Yes, setting boundaries, loving yourself, being a nurse and a mama. Ooh, you are definitely taking care of everybody else and putting them before you. Yes, shame-based parenting and feeling like I'm not good enough. I just want to say that literally everybody's core wound is I'm not worthy and I'm not good enough. I swear, at least 90% of the population. I do coaching online all over the place. I do soul sessions on men and women. I do different workshops, and the core of it is always, I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. I don't deserve that, right? And we have to love ourselves, but we also have to have alignment with our actions, our words, what we want, and what we know we should be doing. And that's how we can create that self-love, self-trust, self-confidence, and all of that. And that's what a lot of what I teach my clients and guide them through and help them take care of themselves. So trying to take care of yourself spiritually and mentally when your body is physically struggling. Ooh. So that brings me into everything. That's literally why we have to do embodiment. So feminine embodiment is all about the stuck energy that's in ourselves. So I share this all the time, right? There's fight or flight, but there's also freeze or fawn, where you just like lock up. You're like, oh, okay. Those physical things you're feeling, your body hurting, is your body crying out for attention and needing a space to express this. Often, what is stuck in our body is more of an emotional, spiritual, mental thing that is built up so much that it's now creating dis-ease in the body and pain in the body. I'm so passionate about this. If you can tell, it just like lights me up because like example, when we're younger, we're growing up, we don't know how to express our anger. Something bad happened, sexual trauma, abuse, bullying, those things happen to us. We lock up, we're like, oh, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do afterwards. I don't know how to express it. And it gets stuck in our body. If you look at deer, something scary happens to them. They almost get hit by a car. They run away. They shake it out. Their animals shake it out. We have to get to that primal feeling and shake and dance and move it through our physical body, our energetic, our spiritual, emotional. It isn't just a physical thing. So they're all interconnected. It's all about that holistic healing. We can't do just one. We have to do it all. I was in a car accident and now I'm pregnant. So my hip is not doing good. So I do acupuncture, I do massage, I do chiropractor every single week. Not to mention the self-care and the other things I'm doing with myself just to be able to keep getting through. So I completely understand you there. All right, I'm going to share a couple more. Yes, it is very difficult, and then move on. Been avoiding the higher road lately. When negative, triggering situation comes up, it's been a struggle to maintain myself. Only retaliating in an equally bad way and making people feel as bad as you did. Oof, I feel you there. And when we're hurt, that's what we do. So having a space where we can share and express our anger and our emotions in a safe space where we're not hurting somebody else is something I like to lead clients through and women through of sacred anger release. I was planning to get there soon, so I think we're just going to jump to that. So let me just share this really quick of what happens when you avoid feeling. Okay, there's an intense feeling. You're hurt, you're sad, you're upset about something, you're angry about something. And then we like to keep the peace, or we like to people please, or take care of other people, or just shut our mouth so there's not a problem. We don't like conflict, right? So we bury it. And then it happens again and again and again. We keep burying it, and then all of a sudden we're like up to our neck in all these feelings and all these emotions and overwhelm. And then boom, it explodes. Somebody, one of the kids piss you off, your husband, like somebody says something at the wrong time on the wrong day, and we explode. I am a fire Aries. So I understand. And then we just hurt people. So then we throw this negative energy, this pain back and forth. And I want to help teach and lead on how we deflect it. I have some energy practices for that. Stay grounded in ourselves, take some breath, give it back to them to let them deal with that. So I'm going to stay good over here so that we're not exploding on our loved ones and our people around us and our friends. Because avoidance is how it just keeps adding up. Yeah, foods. Okay, the foods and stuff hurting the body is definitely a whole nother thing too. But yes, wanting your attention, and it is really hard to focus on the mental, emotional, energetic, and physical, but you got to do it all. Unfortunately, it's a lot of work, but we got to do it all. Yes, avoid looking at all the things, negative self-talk, anger, manipulation. That negative self-talk, if you're avoiding that, it's running the show. You know how many of our subconscious runs our life. We are all subconscious, really. It's, 10% of things we're consciously choosing and doing. So the first step I like to do is embracing cycles is about awareness. What did you learn growing up? What are your beliefs? What are the stories you were told? What shame did you feel? We go through shame release and acknowledging where these things came from and what the truth actually is, and unburying our truth, getting down to the center of what is really true to you. Yeah, so explosion. So sister says last week he started crying at McDonald's because they got the order wrong and your partner's really confused. It's a good wake-up call that there's a lot beneath the surface. Yes. When one little thing makes you pop off, I know how that is. And the more and more we can get grounded and focus on ourselves and take care of ourselves, the less we react like that and have a big explosion. So I want to ask you, you can either, stay right here with your eyes open, or you can close your eyes. Take some deep breaths. Yeah, let's do that. Let's take some deep breaths again and come into the body. You've been listening and doing so well. Let's take some time to come inward. Slow down. Breathing into that heart and into the hips again. We might have been getting a little fired up, talking about the emotions and the anger and all the things we're avoiding. So let's move the body a little bit. Where in your body are you feeling what we were bringing up? The avoidance, the explosions, maybe rolling the shoulders, using your body to express what you're feeling. And how often do you move from the inside out? Nobody's watching you. You're not dancing. You don't have to look a certain way. But let yourself just move from the inside in any weird, stretchy way that you may need. And then slowing down. And breathing nice and slow, whatever feels good to you, and asking yourself, how do you feel about anger? And what's your first memory of anger? What is the first thing you remember about anger? Who expressed it? What kind of outcome was there? What did it feel like to you? What do you think or feel or notice about anger? And I want to hear from you in the chat. I am still working with anger. I've been working with anger for many years. A couple years ago, I went to a Tantra retreat and they had us go through all the emotions and express them. And I was like, and we got to anger and I was like, I'm not an angry person. Like, I don't have anger inside. No, that was a lie. Especially these days, everybody wants to spiritually bypass and be positive and light. And I just want to look at the good side. And that is just not possible. We have to acknowledge the harder, the dark side. And we went to town expressing our anger, and so much came up. And I realized how much anger I have for my dad, who passed away when I was a year old, to my stepdad, who is a direct reflection and taught me my toxic ass, hot, cold, up and down in relationships, push, pull, scared, I love you, but you're scary pattern that I've finally been able to put to rest. And then anger for the sexual abuse from friends, stepbrothers, people. And now, again, I've done a lot of coaching, I've done a lot of inner work, self-work, and there's always another layer. Always more. We have to continue to heal and grow and work on ourselves because things add on, and we also find stuff below. So don't ever give up. And even now, looking at anger makes me scared. When my partner shows anger, it still scares me because of what anger meant when I was younger. That meant that either I was going to get hurt or beat up or whipped, or, anger is very scary. So I either shut down and I can't listen, or I get big and I yell and I try to protect myself and be scary back. So how do we learn and see and decipher where this is coming from and let our body have a safe space to express it? Anger is super scary to me. Oh, I moved. First saw from my mother and siblings, and it was too much of it in your life. When it comes up, it's like blind rage. Yeah, feeling trapped or defensive, right? So then how does that show up in your relationship? When your partner or a friend shows that they're anger, then do you feel trapped and defensive? I definitely defensive. I definitely do that too, or have. I'm getting better. Yeah, when you think you don't have anger, and then someone comes along and just triggers it, and people say like you've changed because you're moody or you're a negative person, and you're that angry person again. And that angry person again. Nobody wants to be that angry person or that emotional person. It's hard. And we also can have our days, right? Yes, don't live in your anger and your sadness and your pain. And you can have some times where you're feeling upset. This morning, I was a little upset with my partner. Last night, I expressed it to him. He told me some things that he didn't do that I thought he did, and I just, instead of yelling and freaking out like I really wanted to, I took a breath, didn't say anything. I took a moment, got up into the bathroom, collected myself. How am I going to say this clearly so that he receives it and knows how I'm feeling? And I came out to the living room. I said, I feel blank, 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 blah, 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 because you, and this is why, and this is, and I just nicely stated it, and I said, okay, that's it. And I went to my room. And I went and brought myself back, right? And then today even, I was still a little upset, and he was asking why I seem angry, and I was able to just communicate, right? So there's a difference between being able to effectively communicate and being honest and truthful versus being a moody asshole and just throwing your anger at them because you don't want to deal with it, right? So today, I knew I was stressed. I enjoyed my massage. I did many meditations. Sat by the pool listening to some affirmations. I knew I had to really do my inner work so that I didn't blow up in somebody else, because I don't want to be that angry person either. But I'm also going to express my truth. You have to be able to do both, or be able to express your truth and share how you're feeling, and that's okay. Oh, all right. So the youngest of 3 girls, you had to quit your figure skating lesson because other sisters were already there and couldn't afford more lessons. Oh no, feeling less important. Yes, see, not worthy, not good enough. And then that anger and resentment. I pulled a card. I have surrender cards right here. Actually, they're my favorite. And mine was surrender resentment. So do you think you've been able to let go of that anger and that resentment from the past. And how has that played out? Do you still feel not worthy, or like you don't deserve or can't get certain things in your relationships currently? And then the next friend here, I need to get that moment pause where I'm very, yeah, trust me. When I was younger, I used to get a bunch of fights. I was a very different person than I was today. I just want to tell you that. Like I said, you guys, I got bullied a lot. I had to stick up for myself. My abusive stepfather, and then my next stepfather's son, like I had to really be that like aggressive, loud, fight person. So training my whole freaking being to slow down, to breathe, to communicate, to move through my triggers in a healthy way and be able to communicate that I'm triggered. Years of work, but you're glowing now. I love that. Yeah, it is. Well, intimate relationships also bring up a lot. Intimate relationships are our biggest reflection. They definitely bring it all out. But that's why I want to bring up this anger and remind you not to avoid it, not to run away from it. I love to lead my clients in a sacred anger release and ceremony where you get to be held and feel safe to express, to yell, to scream. And then also ceremony and rituals where you can let your inner child express all the things like she wished she could tell her parents about not being able to have her skating lessons, and what she could say to her family and her siblings, and let that younger self express what she was feeling, so that your older self and yourself now can realize that I can express what I want. I am safe to have these feelings. I can share my truth. Anger doesn't have to be scary. I just need a way to express it in a healthy way. And so expressing it in a healthy way, this is how we also build trust within ourselves. It's through the practice and that self-expression. So often when we have too many emotions that are overwhelming and all this anger and this sadness that we haven't been able to express or feel or work through, we can't trust ourselves. We don't trust how we're going to react. We don't trust what's going to happen if we're triggered, or trust ourselves in a relationship or with other people, and it takes practice. We have to have this trust with ourselves, or we're not going to believe anybody else. We have to have this self-expression of being able to communicate healthy and beautifully so that it is received. Because also, I'd like to point out this too, is when you're angry and you yell at somebody, they're not going to receive it. They're not going to respond. They're going to react just like you. So think about the way you deliver something. Are they going to receive it? Like last night I had to think about, okay, how can I say where he's going to listen and do something about it? And then I went to my room, I listened to some things. He came in there and he's like, hey, I did this, this, and this. Today, again, he did more. He's working on it because we could actually have a conversation about it instead of a huge blowout argument. And that takes vulnerability. That takes having to share with them how you feel, how things are doing is making you feeling, what's triggering you, sharing your past. I've had to share with him what some of my biggest stories around, I can't depend on men, I can't feel safe, like anger is scary. I've had to be very vulnerable about what is easily triggering or hurting to me. And then accountability, not even for yourself, only for yourself, but for others too. We have to hold others accountable while holding ourselves accountable. A couple days ago, I was super petty and pissy with him. And I had to apologize. It really sucked. But instead of a big fight, it was yeah, probably didn't need to do that. And I was pissed off because you didn't say what you're going to do. So we have to hold ourselves accountable and those around us accountable. I hold my mom accountable a lot, and it's not easy. She doesn't like it, but we have to do that to up level and grow with our people. And then we have to feel safe in our own body. We have to feel connected and safe in our body, to our masculine, our feminine, our intuition, so that we can communicate. We can share our truth and be able to express ourselves. And then also self-compassion. We're not always going to be perfect. We are going to mess up. And we have to have some compassion and grace with ourselves. So an easy way that we can start building this trust is just choosing one thing to do each day or week. So something that can help you. We'll get into this deeper soon, and then celebrate your accomplishments, celebrate your growth. Look at you now. Take a second right now, all of you here, and take a second to like look back of, wow, you know, I used to be a lot worse, or I used to yell and scream, I used to use this, I used to numb, you know. Celebrate how far you came. We forget to do that. We forget to recognize our growth. So I wanted just to remind you of, look how far you have came. Yes, there may be a lot more you want to do, but at least you've gotten right here so far, and you're waking up and have the awareness that you want to keep going forward. So 3 mindset shifts. As women, often, I am too emotional. Our emotions are our superpower. Our ability to feel is beautiful. To feel means you're alive and you're in this human experience. Being able to feel is juicy and delicious and amazing, and sometimes it's wild and too much, and we just gotta express it in a healthy way. So a mindset to shift that to is that my emotions are valid and my guide. A lot of times when we're younger, we aren't shown that our emotions are valid. We don't learn it from our parents often, that our emotions are valid. The next one, I can't express myself or speak my truth. Can shift that into, I'm learning the value of my words and speaking it more. Many, many, many women that I work with, it's their throat chakra. They can't say no, they can't hold boundaries, they can't share, they can't have the conversation with their boyfriend that they've been needing to have for months, that they know is probably going to end the relationship, but they're too afraid. So that goes right to the next one. I'm afraid or scared of anger. I'm learning healthy ways to express my anger and fear. Words are spells. We have to be conscious of our words, what we believe, what we're saying. So what is it, like the negative self-talk earlier? Think how many years you've been saying. Write it all down, all the negative things you say to yourself. And look at that piece of paper and remember that you don't deserve that. It's not true. And write out all the positive things. Write the opposite of those things and start telling yourself those things and start rewiring the brain. Yeah, that throat chakra. I'm telling you, again, at least 75% of the women I work with, their throat chakra is blocked too. And some days, even my loud asses too. Some people, it's like, even though they're loud and big, doesn't mean their heart and throat are connected or their throat chakra is balanced and open. It means they're looking for attention and love, but not always expressing it in the right way. So it's tricky. It's a tricky one. So let's make a commitment to ourselves. When can you commit to spending 1 hour this week to feel, express, and allow space for your emotions? Can you make time Thursday night or Sunday night to just have a sacred anger release ceremony? Can you sit in the bathtub and cry it out? A lot of clients come to me and they can't cry, right? Or look, I've had women come to my events or do the one-to-one coaching with me, or they're like, I just can't cry. I know I need to, and it's just really hard and it's scary. And I love when I can get women to cry. I love guys too. I mean, I love when people cry with me because I know they feel safe and held enough to just let it out, to cry and shake it out. And one of my clients a couple months ago, she's in Chelsea. It's like we opened the floodgates. Now I'm like crying every day. It's been like 2 weeks. I'm still crying. I'm like, you had a lot to get out. It's cleansing. It's okay. And she's doing great now. But sometimes we gotta let it go. Yeah, crying. It feels great. And you gotta, can't wait to let it all out. Yes, it is necessary. I did acupuncture last week and it was my first time in a long time, and she did a lot. And then I'm laying there and my eyes are just like watering. I'm like, I guess I have some crying. I have some like release I really need to do. So it's okay. Sometimes even when you don't expect it, it comes out. So Find a time, make some commitment, because to create lasting change, we really have to be consistent. There's going to be ups and downs, ebbs and flows. There's going to be, some days I'm better at my morning practice than others, but you still have to be consistent with something. You have to keep showing up for yourself. If you're not showing up for yourself, how do you expect anybody else to do it for you? If you don't trust yourself, if you don't love yourself, how do you expect somebody else to do it? And then we must have the support and the guidance through it, because there's going to be a lot of times life happens. It happens. There's always going to be change. Sometimes there's chaos, sometimes there's really highs, really low lows, and we have to have the support through that. So do you have support around you? Do you have a guide? I started working with a coach years ago. Nobody just thinks, oh, I should get a coach, or I need a mentor. And then they start seeing somebody and they're like, oh, I like this person. Maybe I should work with him, right? But everybody really needs a coach or guide or mentor of some sort to help just hold space, guide them through. Yes, it's awesome to have your friends and family and people, but they're very biased, right? And they probably have a very similar mentality. So it's having somebody that's a couple of steps ahead of you or more that can share practices and tools and hold you accountable and call you on your bullshit and pull you through it. Sometimes that tough love is necessary. And to the next is that we have to move past our comfort zone. It has to be something bigger and more. We have to push ourselves beyond the fear. And sometimes we can't do that by ourselves. We have to take the actions that are necessary. We have to say yes to ourselves and say no to others. My favorite thing around boundaries is when you say no to somebody else, you're saying yes to yourself. So are you ready to say yes to yourself? Just by being here already, you already have said yes. That is a step in itself, my sisters. So thank you for being here. So we already chose an hour that you're going to try to take some time with you. But what is one task? This is something I do for everybody. That's just a simple, easy thing of what is one task that you can choose to do daily. From morning routines, wake up and I automatically do gratitude. I wake up, I cuddle my dog, and I think about all the things I'm grateful for. Then I slither onto the floor and stretch my body. I drink some water, I nourish my body, listen to uplifting music, I do a meditation. I have all these steps, but I had to start with just one at one point. So it is one task that you can do daily. Let me see in the chat, what are you going to do? And then after a week or after a couple of days, celebrate yourself. Keep doing it, celebrate yourself. Keep doing it, add to it, celebrate yourself. We have to celebrate ourselves. I used to be really bad at celebrating myself. We have to do it. So we are not meant to do this alone. I want to celebrate you. I want to guide you and show you and help you through all of this because I know it's not easy. So I want to share a little bit about what I do and how I've been able to come this far and lead other women down this path of deep healing and empowerment. I've been able to help hundreds of women, and I'm just very grateful. And that's why I give from my full cup, is to keep spreading this wildfire and this love and empowerment to each of you around me. So thank you for being here and listening. I want to share about my Break the Cycles program. So I was doing this with as a group program where we do group calls. I am doing it without group calls, where you just have this online program that goes through all these modules. So you have a mini foundations course that gives you the basis of what working with me is: meditation, self-love, ceremonies, altars, feminine embodiment. You get that already. And then we move into these different modules. Great. One of the tasks you choose is a daily affirmation. Good. I do affirmations too. And especially for pregnancy, I'm doing pregnancy affirmations. Really great. So module 1, death to the old self. As we grow and we want to connect to our higher self and be of our greatest good and do our best as people and as women, we have to let go of who we used to be. We have to acknowledge the past and the payoff we got for being in that victim mentality, and that's really hard to accept for a lot. And then we have to release the layers of who you are not. We have to let go of the death of the old self. And then module 2 is the inner child healing, where we address the mother wound, the father wound, and we understand the vital stories that created your beliefs, that negative self-talk, where they came from, and turn your wounds into wisdom. And then we go into module 3. This is the safety within. This is where we learn how to stand in your worth, to have that self-trust, to find the safety and the strength within, and to say no to toxic people and relationships and environments, and really say yes to yourself by knowing and being grounded in yourself and your truth. Module 4 is about coming home even deeper. So this is returning to innocence. Coming back through, returning to your innocence ceremony is about coming back to the purity and the light and the love that you are before the pain, the trauma, the abuse, the things that happened to you that changed who you were. This is you finding the forgiveness for yourself and others. Yes, forgiveness is a big part. And then module 5, where you get to reframe who you are. You get to discover how to feel confident by trusting your inner authority and taking control over this pattern and being the empowered woman, to see it, to acknowledge it and change it and write it in a new way. And then the last juicy one is about pleasure and receiving, and learning how to open up, receive, and allow more pleasure, happiness, fun, money, and joy to come into your life. All 6 of these modules are part of my Break the Cycles course, and it is juicy and packed. It's meditations, practices, videos, worksheets, so much. And it's self-guided, so you can do it as you want. I'm going to check in here. Looks like maybe some more tasks of what you're going to do. Daily task is to connect with the inner child each morning and have her guide you through the day. Beautiful. Thank you for coming and watching the sunset, looking at the stars, feeling the breeze, mindful meditations. Yes, committing to that. I love that. Really enjoying your environment. It is needed. Beautiful tasks, lady. Thank you for sharing. So the Break the Cycles that I'm talking about, we have that foundation program that is just to begin. And then we have the 6-module course, the Breaking the Cycles, embodiment practices, all of that. You get one-to-one support and messaging through Telegram. And then we have a supportive Facebook group community too. So all of this packaged together is really juice of the work that I do. And it is valued at over $9,000. The total investment typically is $1,297. It was even more when I was doing the group calls, but now I'm doing today's discount for you is only $797. So that's a lot of money off, and I know the state of the world right now. I know how gas and groceries and the first thing that go out the window for self-care or for the time right now when we're just trying to survive is our self-care and our healing and taking care of ourselves. So I want to offer this discount to you and let you know that we can do this one, pay in full price right here, or we can do payment plans where we pay twice or 3 times. Like, I'm willing to work with you. I don't want money to be the reason you get scared away. And we work on the money story and opening up to receive more. When we show the universe we trust in ourselves and our truth, the universe will give more to us and be like, yes, here you go. Let's do this, sister. I also want to share that on top of that, if you would like, I do have 2 additional spaces for one-to-one coaching. So this, like I said, I'm pregnant. I am due in November. So I am doing minimal clients. You can do just Break the Cycles program, self-guided. I'm still there for messaging. And you can do that plus one-to-one coaching, but only a few of you can get in for that. And I have options for that too, where we could do just 1 call a month, or we can do 2 calls plus a ceremony. I'd love to share with you about that. Let's touch base after this event tonight, tomorrow, let's message. But I want to go back to what we learned. Reflections, questions, anything you guys want to share? Do you want to ask me? Anything that came up for you? See if anybody's typing anything out. I'm here if you need me. And then I just want to say deep gratitude. This is where I'm passing the torch to you. I'm giving the light to you. This is your offer, your choice. This is for you. I want to talk to you after this. And even if you just connect with me and say, like, what was your favorite part? What did you love? What did you need to hear? So I can make sure I keep sharing that and telling other ladies too. And what was the biggest takeaway? And what do you need next? What can support look like next? Maybe you come do a soul session with me, or maybe you join my Break the Cycles program. What is it? What's the next step? Yes,